Is the third and final game of the series between 13th ranked Duke and number 16 Virginia Tech. Duke has taken the first two games of this series. Happy Sunday. We're working remotely. That is former Purdue head coach Carol Bruggeman. I'm Mark Neely. We just saw Duke win 5-1 a short time ago in the first game of the day. Carol, how does Virginia Tech avoid being swept at home?
Yeah, and even though Duke has dominated this series, to earn the sweep, they have to go through Emma Lemley. And Lemley leads the nation in strikeouts. The Hokies need a big performance from her here in Game 3.
So let's catch you up on how we got here. Of course, Duke won the first game yesterday, 7-1. But the earlier game today, the Anna Gold show. She doubles down the left field line to chase in the first run. Then she would homer. Aminah Vega, part of a 4-run fifth. Virginia Tech finally got on the board, though, Carol, with a pinch hitter, Meredith Slaw.
Well, Slaw comes in, drives the ball opposite field to break the scoreless game for Virginia Tech as they get on the board. They're going to need a little more of that power here in Game 3.
There's Emma Lemley about ready to take the field. She pitched basically, Carol, 24 hours ago because of the postponement Friday. Playing a single game yesterday and 2 games today. She does not have that usual off day between starts, say Friday to Sunday. How does that affect today?
Well, and Emma Lemley is a warrior for the Hokies. Certainly you'd like that extra amount of rest, really more for the legs than anything else. As any pitcher could tell you, the legs go before anything else. But Emma Lemley knows she is the ace of this staff. She is confident in her abilities. You're going to see her throw the ball extremely hard, works all parts of the strike zone. Most importantly, Lemley has not lost back-to-back games in her 2-year career. The Hokies are needing a performance from her today.
He leads the team out onto the field. She got a complete game loss yesterday through all 7 innings. Kind of got away from Pete Moore's team late yesterday. They gave up a 5-run 7th. It was a 2-1 Duke lead going into the 7th, but Lemley hit around for 8 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned. Threw 129 pitches yesterday. 86 of those were strikes. Right back in the circle today to try to help Tech salvage a game of this 3-game series.
And they're going to rely on Lemley. I mean, the nation's leader in strikeouts. She is dominant with her ability to throw the ball hard and move it through the zone. She likes to ladder up on her rise ball. That's her bread and butter pitch. Also can throw the off-speed pitch. Most importantly for Virginia Tech, being able to hold down Duke early, and that all starts with Emma Lemley in the circle.
The back-to-back losses for Virginia Tech. The second time this year they have lost back-to-back games, and Emma Lemley will try to break that. It's 2 games, but it would still be a losing skid for a team that's used to a lot of wins. But Duke is rolling right now. They have played very well, have not lost a game on the road all year. 8-0 away from Duke Softball Stadium. Deja Davis, the DP. First pitch swinging. She grounds it right to the second baseman, Cameron Fagan. 1 pitch, 1 out. That's the way the series finale begins.
Well, when you get to Game 3 of a series, there are no surprises. It is all about guts. It is all about digging your heels in, finding a way to earn that victory.
Batting order for head coach Marissa Young's Blue Devils. Anna Gold in that cleanup spot is homered in each game of the series. Here's Jennings swinging at the first pitch. Low. Out is the call on the diving pickup by Jayme Bailey. We'll see if they're going to take a look at this. Here comes Marissa Young down from her third base coach's box. And this will be reviewed. Let's take another look.
Well, we got a new shortstop out there in Castine, and this ball pulls Bailey away from the bag. So what we're looking at, was she able to keep her right toe on the bag? And right there, it looked like it came off. Looked like there's a little bit of dirt that you can clearly see. So I believe this this play is going to be reversed, and Jennings is going to be on base.
First base umpire Cameron Ellison's call on the field was safe, but as you mentioned, Carol, it looks like there's enough on the video, indisputable evidence to overturn. I think she beat the throw anyway. As long as she hit the base right here.
Yeah, and you take a look and you can clearly see there's some room there between Bailey's foot, and to your point, Mark, is very close play and could have easily beat that out as well.
Yeah, I think her foot got to the base even before the ball got in the glove. I don't think there's any doubt there's enough evidence to overturn this, and that Jennings will be on with one out. And there's the reversal. All has been changed. See if they scored hit or throwing error, but nonetheless, Jennings is on. Not the way Pete Moore to see this first inning go after getting the leadoff batter of the game, Davis, on one pitch.
Well, and after seeing no stolen base attempts in game one, we did see Duke be more aggressive, put some runners in motion, some stolen bases. I look for them to stay aggressive. Been working for them so far in this series.
Zell Tapia bounces it right side. Fagan can't get to it. The clean base hit, and there goes Jennings all the way to third, and Duke has runners at the corners with only one out on a Tapia base hit.
Duke continuing to be aggressive as they're timing up Emma Limley. And Virginia Tech is very fortunate. Addie Green chooses to go to third base. That ball should have went to second base to prevent the back runner from advancing. They're very fortunate Tapia didn't advance to second base.
Ball hit by Jennings was scored an infield hit, so for Tapia a base hit. Follows that, Tapia's third hit of the series, and now the always dangerous Anna Gold with 2 on, 1 out.
Well, more than anything, if you're Virginia Tech, you need a mental and emotional victory here in the top of the first inning. You're doing everything you can to keep that scoreboard at 0. This has been a tough series for Virginia Tech to score runs. The last thing they want is to go down early in this game.
Anna Gold hit a grand slam off of Emma Limley in the 7th inning of yesterday's game. The earlier game today, Gold with an RBI double and a solo homer. Hits it hard to third. The throw's going to go to first. Runner coming home. Play there, safe. Jennings scores. Now they tag her. I think some of the crowd thought she never touched home plate, but the plate umpire gave the safe sign. That's Heath Walker. Well, Duke has scored a run.
I mean, this is aggressive base running from Jennings. She gets a little caught off balance because the ball's hit so hard, but slides to the back of the base, gets her hand in there. Just good aggressive base running from Duke.
And she didn't get a whole lot of the plate with that hand, but apparently just got enough. The plate umpire, Heath Walker, having a good look at it.
Well, I thought it was a fantastic slide. That was her only play at that point. She was a little caught off guard and then put her head down and took off and went to the back of the plate, furthest away from where the throw is coming from, which was first base.
An RBI for Anna Gold. Anna Gold has 7 RBIs now in this series. 7. And we're in the top of the first of the third game.
I mean, there's a lot of players out there who don't get 7 in 2 weeks. So that's just really impressive for Gold, just stepping up for her team, swinging with confidence, really hitting the ball hard and solid. I mean, there are no mishits from Anna Gold right now, and that's when you know you're really seeing the ball well. Good barrel control.
Alana Gold has homered in the first 2 games of this series, as has the lady at the plate. Aminah Vega has homered in each of the first 2 games. The true freshman from Florida. Kelsey Brown's getting the start in left field. Defense, Castine getting the start at short. A few changes there. Virginia Tech defensively. Oh, stroked over the shortstop, Castine, and will go all the way to the fence. Tapia has scored. And Aminah Vega with an RBI double makes it 2-0.
Well, this part of the lineup, Gold to Vega, has been absolutely on fire all weekend long. A lot of Vega's hit. She's not afraid to spray the ball to the opposite field with power, lets it get really deep. And this Duke continues the hit train and the hit parade. Emma Lemley's going to have to go more to her off-speed pitch, something she does not like to do, something we haven't seen a whole lot from her in this series.
Fielder Claire Davidson. They had a single and a sacrifice first game today, second game of the series. Oh, a little low, and Davidson able to hold off on the swing.
But I love that off-speed pitch. It gives Duke something else to think about besides timing up her faster pitches, which don't seem to have quite as much movement on them so far today. You think about Emma Lemley, and you see a lot of strikeouts, right? A lot of swings and misses. We haven't seen a lot of swings and misses yet today.
The 2-1 pitch coming to Claire Davidson. Right back off Lemley, up the middle. The throw to first will be late from Castine. And coming all the way around is Vega. She just kept on moving. She comes in to score.
Boy, the wheels kind of falling off for Virginia Tech here. Lemley doesn't get her glove down in time, but Castine has a chance to make the play. It's too late. Bailey can't squeeze the ball, and with 2 outs, Vega's not hesitating, and Duke just continues the hit parade. They are doing anything and everything they want to do on offense right now.
Rallied fouls first pitch away. Who hits in the first game of the series yesterday for Freilich. For 2 with a walk in the earlier game today. Out to third. Bennett right arms to first, and the side retired. But Duke scores 3 on 4 hits. Makes an early statement.
Tour is just the one time in life where there's no album to hand.
Offensive series for Virginia Tech through the first 2 games. And they get the offense fired up and already in a 3-0 hole as they come to bat in the bottom of the first. There's the batting order. Pete Moore's team, and they face Cassidy Curd, who picked up the win in yesterday's game for Duke.
And was outstanding in that win. Undefeated on the season. Look at that whip below 1. You're going to see her throw the ball with good velocity in the upper 60s. Loves the rise ball. Throws a curveball on both sides. Regular curveball, backdoor curveball. Mainly throws hard through the zone.
Kelsey Brown in the lineup, playing left field. Third time this year she has been at the top of the batting order for Virginia Tech. Well, we talked about how Emma Limley pitched yesterday and is pitching again today. Well, it's the same situation for Cassidy Curd, but the difference here, Carol, is that instead of the 129 pitches Limley threw yesterday, Curd threw 90. Does that make that big a difference?
Well, absolutely it does.
Third base, Gold. Has been Gold, 1 out. Level defense. Fralick, who caught the first game today, is in right field for this one, and Kelly Torres, who got the earlier game today off, a very rare game off for Kelly Torres, right back in there behind the plate. I'll let you expound a little further on the difference between the 90 and 129 pitches, and I know it's 30 whatever pitches, but with a short recovery time, that does make a difference, you say?
Well, it sure does, and I tell you, not just the physical. Of course, everyone thinks about the physical right away, the wear and tear in the legs, the arm, but most importantly, the mental. I mean, it's tough to be on for 30 more pitches, and Curd got to hand the ball to her teammate, Lily Walker, and they really split the game yesterday. So more than anything, just mentally very fresh, not to mention the lift from earning the victory.
Cameron Fagan in the first game today batted leadoff for the first time this season. Went 1 for 3 with a single. A decent portion of the crowd has stayed around for the final game. Two strikes on Fagan.
What makes Curd so difficult to hit? She does have 72 strikeouts coming into this game on the season. But the batting average against just 140. And that's because of her ability to really stretch the zone. She also works that off-speed in. She's a little bit effectively wild, and there's not a lot of film on her. She's a freshman.
It's her first strikeout. She had 2 strikeouts in her 4 2/3 innings pitched yesterday. 2 outs.
Goes upstairs for the strikeout after kind of picking the corners, picking the sides. Really went upstairs in the zone for the strikeout. Just really stretches the zone, really changing the eye level for the hitters, making it very difficult.
Well, they were 1 for 22 against Curd. The only hit was a home run, Jayme Bailey. And also what Curd did, really got ahead of the Virginia Tech hitters. 10 of the 18 hitters she faced, she got ahead of with 2 strikes on for at least the first 3 pitches.
And looking for the combination, the secret sauce to having that elite pitching staff. It's having right-handed, left-handed pitchers. Duke has that. Being able to work all parts of the zone. Duke has that. It's working from ahead. As you mentioned, Curd's been able to do that throughout the series. This is a team that I feel like every weekend they just get a little bit better, and a little bit better. Pitchers a little more sharp. They're hitting a little bit deeper through their lineup. And most importantly, that defense has been airtight this weekend.
which has been a bit of a bugaboo for Duke this year. Defense came into this 3-game series with 48 errors. That in 33 games played coming in. And have not committed an error so far in this series. 2-2 is outside, full count. More sun, but still a bit of a chilly Sunday in Blacksburg. Temperatures gotten out of the 40s. EP Grace Chavez. Foul tip into the glove of Torres. A strikeout, 2 in the inning. Cassidy Curd, who sets Tech down in order in the first.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. You clock in.
Been able to take even more of a leadership step. We don't have that many upperclassmen, so underclassmen have stepped up.
I think it's so amazing to just like grow such a young program. We're able to make a new name for ourselves each year.
We'll get in the dirt, we're gritty, we can be absolute clowns off the field, but once we cross those lines, we're gonna compete.
We still have all the passion in the world. We're ready to just step on the field with anybody, no matter the name, no matter the ranking. We're that team.
Well, for the Duke Blue Devils, Team 6, meaning this is season number 6 in their softball history. Inaugural season was 2018 when Marissa Young became the first head coach in school history. Ball's hit foul down the left field side. Shortstop Jada Baker. Tell you what, they have made the most of these half dozen years, have they not, Carol?
It's just so impressive. I mean, a lot of teams couldn't put a resume up like that in 15 years, but to win an ACC championship, to get to their first super regional in the first 5 years in the history of the program, just tremendous leadership from Marissa Young, buy-in from the players, a lot of development of the culture and their identity, and it happened very, very quickly, and obviously a big commitment from Duke University around their softball program as well.
6th season in school history. And I know Virginia Tech has some history. They went to the Women's College World Series in 2008. But until the last 6 or 7 years, where you've had Clemson come in and Duke as well, I think nationally everybody looked at the ACC and said, well, there's Florida State and then there's everybody else in the ACC. And that narrative is dead, long gone. Out to short. Castine makes the catch, 1 out. Resume from Marissa Young, who was a tremendous player in her own right at Michigan. Big Ten Pitcher of the Year, also Big Ten Player of the Year. No, it's only been 1 batter here in the second, Carol, but anything a little different in Limley from inning 1 when she gave up 3 to inning 2 here? And well, this should be the second out.
I feel like, we keep track of a lot of different things for Emma Lemley, and Emma Lemley comes into this game #1 in the country in terms of strikeouts. She had 192 strikeouts. So far today, first time through the lineup, 0 strikeouts. And the reason she gets a lot of strikeouts isn't always her off-speed pitches at all. It's the way she can spin the ball. And by my count, she's had 1 swing and miss the first time through the entire lineup. And so if I'm Emma Lemley, yesterday, you look at her velocity, she was throwing about 1 to 2 miles an hour faster yesterday, which the ball was flattening out a little bit, trying a little too hard. And then you don't get as many swings and misses. And there we finally see another one. But, a lot of times when you're trying to do too much for your team, you're going to overthrow, the ball's going to flatten out, you get less swings and misses. And that is not Emma Lemley's game. Her game is to make sure she's spinning the ball, especially up in the zone. I'd like to see her take just a little bit off those pitches today and really focus more on her spin, more on her location. Try to get those swings and misses, those fly ball outs.
In that vein, I think you and I have had this subject before on other games. There is a line that maybe you can back down the velocity and get better spin.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. You know, there's a few rare pitchers in the history of our game. Think about a Monica Abbott who can consistently be over 70 miles an hour and also make the ball dance through the zone with spin. It's very rare. But typically, take a little bit less off. The spin is more important than the speed as well.
Deja Davis, 2-2 pitch, singles to right field.
Just such a compact swing. And really, Davis has proven she can hit the ball to all parts of the ballpark. There's just no wasted motion in her swing. Everything is quiet, and it's right to the ball, right to the contact point.
Deja Davis now with 4 hits in the series. Innings, strike 1. Yana had a couple of hits in the earlier game today, singled and scored in the first inning of this game, so she has 3 hits today. Late umpire Heath Walker says that she offered it the pitch. 0-2. Sophomore Emma Limley has never lost back-to-back appearances. In danger of that if her team does not rally today, but she does get the strikeout. That strikeout ended the inning. The throw not necessary, but first K of this game for Emma Limley.
Let's try these.
Jayme Bailey leads off the Tech second.
Well, if you're Virginia
set
Tech,
down Tech in order in the first.
Yeah, and you don't have to get them all back in one inning. It feels, you can just feel the weight of this score on the Virginia Tech Hokies. They have struggled all series long, not only to put runs on the board, but just to get base runners on. And that can weigh on you. It's like putting on a weighted vest and going up to bat, you know, and just you have this big weight. And if I'm Virginia Tech, I may start to, even though they are a very good power hitting team, home runs speak for themselves, lead the nation, and I may go to a little bit more to the short game, try a little more hit and run, just take that thinking out of the hands of the hitters.
Well, it's a program whose identity certainly is heavy with hitting the ball over the fence. And when you face the pitching that they have in this series, especially, you know, Jayla Wright, a drop ball pitcher in the first game earlier today, where a lot of balls are on the ground as it is and hard to elevate. Is it where Coach DeMora says, all right, I guess you don't want to deviate too far. I mean, you have your identity offensively, Carol, but when you've been beaten twice by a conference rival and in danger of making it 3 in a row at home, do you kind of tweak things a little bit at this point?
Well, there's no doubt about it. And credit to Coach DeMora. I mean, we've had a different batting order in all 3 games so far this series. Just looking for that formula, looking for the combinations. It's really what a batting order is all about. You want to put your hottest hitters toward the top so they get the most at-bats throughout the course of a year. That top spot in the lineup can get 60, 65 more at-bats throughout the course of a 56-game season. But at this point, it's looking for hot hitters, bunch them together, mix up that batting order,
Jada Baker waits for that one to come down. One out.
And I tell you, it's a little tougher for Virginia Tech when you look at some of their statistics. You know, they have a lot more success against right-handed pitchers than they do against left-handed pitchers. And what does Duke have? They have 3 left-handed pitchers on their staff, and that makes it even tougher for Virginia Tech. And a lot of times you say, well, we're going to work on that and practice a little bit. Let's get the lefties out there and prepare for a team like Duke. Well, Virginia Tech does not have a left-handed pitcher on their staff, so it's very difficult to simulate that and to practice that on a daily basis.
Ritter getting the start in center field. Mentioned the left-handed pitching, Carol. It seems like in the last year or two, has finding left-handed pitching become more of a premium for schools? Well,
you know, when you're out recruiting, you know, you might give somebody a point if they have elite speed. You might get somebody a point if they have elite power. And the minute you go to watch a pitcher, if they're throwing from the left side, they just get a point already because they're a little harder to find. And especially ones that have that elite movement and are very crafty. And but yes, I absolutely, you want to have a staff that complements each other. If you have 3 right-handed pitchers and they all throw up in the zone, well, you're not going to give teams a different look.
Ritter reaches on a walk, and there's the first base runner for the Hokies. When you look at the line for Cassidy Curd in the first game of this series yesterday, did have 3 walks in 4 2/3 innings, which isn't crazy bad, but it's something. But you only gave up 1 hit, you know, and 1 run, so that was the main part of the story there. Upstairs to Addie Green.
Well, and I look for Virginia Tech to just, again, make something happen. Put Ritter in motion. She is perfect in terms of stolen bases on the season, 12 out of 12. And it's just one of those weekends where, you know, you can't sit back and wait for those home runs to happen. They're just not happening. So when you do have some speed on the base paths, making sure you use that and put some runners in motion, make some things happen.
Now that home run ball has been such a big part of the identity of the offense. Head coach Pete DeMoore, 2019, a school record 97. They had 59 home runs at this point through 34 games in the season. Even more than that this year. 65 after pinch hit home run from Slaw in the earlier game today.
Well, they're on track to break that single season record this season.
3rd strikeout for Curd.
And you love to see that from the freshman. What do you do after you give up the walk? Well, it's all about the next at bat. And she takes that curveball, drives it hard away from Green for the strikeout.
Kelsey Bennett put her on and 2 outs. Here's another part of the story, Carol, through the first 2+ games of this series. Virginia Tech with runners on base. This isn't runners in scoring position, just runners on base, anywhere on base. 0 for 13 so far in the series.
And that can get frustrating, and that's where you have to go back to the preparation you put in, the work you put in. It's hard not to bring all those other at-bats with you to the current at-bat. You've got to start fresh every at-bat, and that's where we continue to talk about when you do have a runner on base, making the most of those opportunities, forcing Duke to play defense a little bit more. Virginia Tech's made it a little bit easy on the Duke defense this weekend.
Well, I know the last thing Pete DeMoore wants is to have his players overthinking this when they're struggling to get the offense kick-started here. The 1-2 pitch to Bennett. And I know no matter how good your team is, Carol, at some point over a 55-game season, you're going to find a spot where, well, maybe not Oklahoma, but maybe all teams that have human beings on them are going to have spots where they struggle.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And how you can still manufacture runs when you're going through those struggles is key.
Out to second base, and that low liner caught by Vega. Retire the side. Tech strands Ritter. They trail 3-0 after 2.
Tonight, you get pumped for your meeting with your go-to ragtag group of misfits.
Being swept at home. First time in a couple of years. Missy Young's team rolling right now. They've taken the first 2 games, have a 3-0 lead here in the third and final game of the series. Look at the ACC and the top 25. 4 teams, including the Hokies and Blue Devils.
And 2 of those teams in the top 10. Just so impressive what the ACC's been able to do this season, really positioning themselves well as we start the month of April and turn the page very soon to the postseason month, which is the month of May, where somewhere both of these teams certainly hope to be.
This is the first baseman, Giselle Tapia, leading off the Duke third. Bell singled and scored in the 3-run Duke first. There's a strike from Lemley.
You think about Emma Lemley, you know, a year ago she was a freshman phenom and certainly made a name for herself. She was playing behind Keely Richard. It was Keely Richard's team, there's no doubt about it. And when you all of a sudden are asked to be the ace, it's something you definitely want, but also can be taxing.
Castine knocked it down. The stretch there by Bailey. After a moment to think about it, ace umpire Cameron Ellis, she says she is in safely, and that looked to be the correct call, but they will review this. Might slow that down a little more and see when the ball gets in the back of the glove. Yeah, I think she's safe.
I don't think there's enough there to overturn the call by any means. And boy, all kinds of trouble out at shortstop today for Virginia Tech. Castine given the opportunity today. That ball gets up, fields it almost off her gut a little bit instead of fielding it out front. And just that bobble, that's all it takes, is just enough for Tapia to be safe.
Oh, man, that is as close as it can get.
Well, that's why you really want to hit the very front of the bag if you're Tapia. She kind of gets on top of the bag there, and that takes a little bit too long. If she can get her toe on the front of the bag, it's not even close. But because she goes to the top of first base, as you mentioned, Mark, doesn't get much closer than that.
But you know what?
If it was overturned.
If we piece those 2 looks together, she might be out, but I don't know if that'll be enough to overturn it. But all right, here comes Keith Walker leading the crew. Keith, our plate umpire. So the call is upheld. Toppy is on to begin the top of the third. It is going to be scored a base hit, so Toppy is second of this game and her fourth of the series. On a Gold. Is this going to stay in play? It will not.
Boy, Gold doesn't get cheated on her swings, does she? She just takes a healthy swing every time, just puts everything she has into every swing. You're not going to see many miss hits from her because of her good, you know, bat, barrel, hand-eye coordination, but she also gets her money's worth out of every swing.
I was thinking that same thing when she hit it. I'm like, you know what? Even her foul balls look good. Her swing. There's an RBI ground out in this game. RBI double and a solo homer in the earlier game today. A grand slam yesterday. So she has 7 RBIs in this series. Waits on the off-speed pitch and clubs one to deep left, up and out. And Aminah Gold is as locked in can be. She is homered in every game of the series and makes this a 5-0 game.
Well, you mentioned she had 7 RBIs before this swing. Make it 9, and she lets out a scream of excitement. She sits back on this pitch. It's an off-speed pitch. Sits back on it and absolutely crushes it, showing you her power that she's able to drive the ball out of the park off that off-speed pitch. And if you're Virginia Tech, you're scratching your head. How can I get Aminah Gold out at this point? Everything going her way.
Vega, who's had a really nice series herself, not quite Aminah Gold good, but pretty darn good, but pops out there. The first out of the inning. That shot we had of Pete Demore right after that home run with his chin and his palm just kind of said it all right there. There are times when even a great coach like Pete Demore and the opposing team is a tidal wave, and sometimes you just can't get out of the way.
And as a coach, you're doing everything you can. You're putting a different batting order in place. You're switching out defenses, various defenses. We have a new left fielder, new shortstop this game. You're doing everything you can to give people opportunities. You just need that 1 or 2 people on the field to step up, whether that's in the circle with Emma Lemley, whether that's a couple hitters in the lineup, someone coming up and making a key defensive play. We just have not seen that from Virginia Tech. Probably the closest thing we had was the pinch hit home run from Meredith Slaw in game 2.
Davidson takes a strike. And I don't mean to imply that the game is over. We got a lot of softball to play in this game. But right now, the way Duke is playing, and Aminah Gold right at the heart of that. Tough to stop. There's a base hit for Davidson, her second of the game.
Well, and you look ahead to both teams' schedule. As you mentioned, there's a lot of softball still to play this month and into early May. But you look down the schedule. We looked at the rankings a little while ago, and the last 2 ACC series for Virginia Tech, Florida State and Clemson. And so it doesn't get much easier for Virginia Tech as they try to make a push here late in the season.
Looked like a foul ball off the Freilich. Didn't get the close pitch near the bottom of the zone. Skies one to right center field. Ritter cuts across to make the catch for the second out. Well, Virginia Tech going to be at Virginia next weekend, but from there you look at the ranked teams that they will be playing in the not too distant future. Tennessee obviously in non-conference midweek, but then you got Florida State and Clemson talking about.
Coach Pete DeMoore has never shied away from creating a challenging schedule. We've seen that over the last few years. Really wants to position his team to be playing their best and to be battle tested as they head into May. We've seen that over the last few years, and this year no different.
Ada Baker with an 0-2 count. Second strikeouts of the game for Limley now. 194 for her on the season, but Gold adds a 2-run homer. We'll talk with Coach next.
Stacy! I'm the sizzle of this promposal.
Head coach Marissa Young. Coach, when we chatted with you, Carol and I, a couple days ago about Cassidy Curd, we were talking about freshmen. You said freshmen don't know what they don't know. Why don't you tell everybody out there some things they don't know about Cassidy Curd?
She's just a great competitor. You know, the challenge for her is for a team to see her twice this weekend and figuring out what adjustments she needs to make in game 2 to be successful, and happy to see her doing that today.
Well, Coach, your team has now scored 9 runs in the last 6 innings of this series. What is your offense seeing? What's the message to your offense right now?
We've really challenged them to play a complete 7-inning ball game from top to bottom, and I think they showed up and wanted to get that done this weekend.
Yeah, a challenge being accepted so far. Appreciate the time. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Marissa Young. There's Cassidy Curd. Another thing that Coach told us about Cassidy, besides, hey, she's a freshman and freshmen don't know what they don't know, he said she can be effectively wild at times, and I think you've mentioned that as well, Carol, and sometimes that can be to a pitcher's advantage.
It sure can, and the only one who doesn't enjoy that term is usually a catcher, because you get crossed up a little bit from time to time. But there's no doubt as a hitter, if you're, you know, the first time through the lineup, you don't really know what to expect. Maybe the second time you're like, all right, she worked me inside. I'm going to make sure I make this adjustment, step off the plate a little bit. And then, you know, she may be trying to throw you inside, but crosses you up outside. So sometimes it can be an effective strategy.
Rachel Castine, the shortstop, is leading off the Tech 3rd inning. Sophomore from Chesapeake, Virginia. Drives one towards left center field, and that gets out. First for Rachel Castine, her second career home run for the sophomore gets Virginia Tech on the board.
Talk about making the most of your opportunity. This is a pitch elevated in the zone, and Castine keeps her barrel elevated in the zone, stays on plane with the ball, has enough power to hit it out of the ballpark, and this is what Virginia Tech needed. Just something positive to go in their favor on the offensive side of the ball as they get on the board.
mentioned second career home run for Castine. Her first came last year in her true freshman year in non-conference play. She had a 3-run home run against Longwood. Ironically, that's a team that Tech will play next. They'll play a doubleheader against Longwood a couple of days. A team that they actually no-hit twice, back-to-back games of a doubleheader March of last year. Right to Kylie Aldridge. Bird gets ahead, a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, this is, you know, you're going to keep it kind of an additional stat on a pitcher. It'd be, what do you do after you give up something? That something could be a walk, it could be a hit batter, could be a wild pitch, could be a home run. And can you find a way to come right back, kind of reshift your focus, find a way to create an out for your team on the next batter? And that's what Kurt is working toward here. And that's just a huge way to eliminate those big scoring innings.
Well, Curd, when you take her start yesterday and today, has allowed only 2 hits to Virginia Tech. Now, they've both been solo home runs. One to Jayme Bailey yesterday, and now one here to Castine. She gets the strikeout, her 4th of the game. But I think most pitchers would tell you, usually a solo home run is not going to beat you as their strike 3. And that's all that Curd has allowed at this point.
Oh, no doubt. If you're going to give up a home run, you want it to be that solo shot for sure.
But look at Tech Softball Park on a Sunday afternoon. Glad to have you with us here on ACC Network Extra. Top of the order, Kelsey Brown takes a strike. Lap foul.
Well, Kelsey Brown is in the leadoff spot for a reason in Game 3 of this series. We talked about it quite a bit. Virginia Tech just having a hard time getting base runners, and Kelsey Brown is a little bit of lightning in a bottle, just pure speed. Perfect in stolen bases on the year. They need her to find a way to get on base, and she can really create problems for the defense.
The start for her in Game 3, her first appearance of the 3-game series. Kelsey Brown, who started her collegiate career at James Madison, played there true freshman year in 2019. That was the year that James Madison played their super regional at UCLA. But then in 2020, transferred to Virginia Tech. Third baseman on a goal. Pounces on that, and then Brown takes a tumble, and I think she caught the foot of Tapia, and Tapia trying to shake that off as well. Oh no. I didn't see the two make any contact with one another.
Looks like Brown hit hit the base hard, and when she flipped up, I think the back of her cleat, when her legs flipped up, may have hit Toppy in the back. Just kind of an odd play. Brown hits the base hard and falls, and you can see just.
And to kind of get her by her left elbow or maybe the back, but the spike came up. 2 outs for Cameron Fagan.
I tell you what, this Duke pitching staff has done all weekend long to this point. Now, we've got a lot of game left to play here in the third game of the series, but they have not allowed Virginia Tech to string hits together. 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits in a row, and that has really prevented, put a lot of zeros on the board most innings, but even in terms of putting some pressure on the defense, when you got runners at first and second every inning or first and third, that just forces your defense to have some busy minds, and you just get the feeling that the confidence level keeps growing for this Duke defense. But it all starts in the circle. They have not allowed Virginia Tech to string hits together. And by eliminating free passes, they haven't even allowed a hit and a walk in the same inning. So just preventing those big innings from happening for Virginia Tech. And then when you're facing the leading home run team in the country, when they do get a home run, if you do allow those hits and do allow those walks, now you're absolutely right, Mark, what you talked about earlier. It's a 3-run home run or a grand slam. It's very different than a solo shot, go right back to work, keep the bases clean. It's just a different feel in this series so far for the Duke pitching staff.
So Virginia Tech has 3 runs in the series, and again, they've all been solo home runs. Jayme Bailey yesterday. Pinch hitter Slaw in the earlier game today. And now Castine to begin this inning. Two to Cameron Fagan. Three-two pitch. Cassidy Curd. There is a 2-out walk. Second walk issued by Curd. And for the first time, they have a hit and a walk in the same inning in the series.
Well, and you've seen Curd fall behind a little more in this inning, throwing a few more pitches, working to full count, only behind here 1-0, and no surprise here to see head coach Marissa Young have a conversation with her freshman. And, this is probably the 4th, 5th at bat for some of these hitters off of Curd. And this is where that wear and tear, Mark, you talked about it earlier, the pitch count, back-to-back days of pitching. This is where, all of that training pays off, all of that conditioning. This is where you need it the most. And the last thing Duke wants is a big inning here. And with the 3, 4, 5 part of the order up, when you're facing a team that can hit the long ball, just don't want to invite that sort of trouble.
Chavez, the DP, is up. A healthy rip, strike 1. So that's what Chavez is with runners on base this season. But Virginia Tech in this series do not have a hit with a runner on base. 0 for 13. With runners in scoring position, which would be anybody's second base or further, 0 for 2 in the series. Hagen's aboard with 2 outs.
And when you look at the offensive numbers for Virginia Tech and what they've been able to do this season, some of their wins they've had, it's the offensive production has been impressive. And so big credit to the Duke pitching staff for just really being able to so far stymie the Virginia Tech offense outside of 3 swings of the bat.
Another deep count, 3-2. Castine led off the inning with a homer. Fagan a 2-out walk. 3-2 pitch to Grace Chavez. There it is, their first hit of the series with a runner on base. A sharp single up the middle.
And credit to Virginia Tech, they have drawn a few full counts, and Curd has had to come too much over the plate. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see some sort of pitching change here very shortly with Curd falling behind in the count.
Well, and that's exactly what you're going to get. So Walker comes out. Curd will take a seat. Pitching change. We'll be right back. Who picked up a save in yesterday's opener of the series, pitching 2 1/3 scoreless innings, comes in here and inherits a couple of base runners.
Yeah, just trying to shut the door here and get the 3rd out of the inning. In the 3rd, it's been a long Virginia Tech inning. We haven't been able to say that all series long, but you're going to see a crafty lefty, really going to mix speeds. She's been a little bit more of the closer and been successful late in the game.
Jayme Bailey hits a high fly deep left, and just like that, Virginia Tech is right back in the game. Three-run blast, and it is a 5-4 game. And a lot of softball to play still here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Well, I'd say Jayme Bailey was ready. She knew it the minute she hit it, started to go into that home run trot. Absolutely crushes this ball to left field. Just what Virginia Tech needed as they close the gap on this lead.
Wow. Just like that, the narrative on this game completely changes. Ritter, we're tied. What has just happened in the last 3 pitches of this game?
I mean, there's no other word for it than the one you used. Wow, this is what Virginia Tech is known for. The #1 home run hitting team in the country. Took them a while to unleash here in this series, but now in game 3, we have seen 3 home runs in the 3rd inning alone as they tie up this ball game.
Well, they get their first home run with runners on base with Bailey, but then Ritter backs it up with a solo shot. And I think now, Carol, we're starting to see the effects of these two teams basically playing 3 games in just over a 24-hour period. To shortstop. Baker throws her out. But the bats have awoken for the Hokies. They've tied it. We'll visit with head coach Pete Demore next.
1 teaspoon of potassium iodide.
Checkaroo.
And then science.
About 10 minutes ago, I was trying to figure out what I was going to ask you without sounding like Debbie Downer, but now 3 home runs an inning later. How has the vibe changed down there? Please tell me.
Well, the vibe really hadn't changed. Our girls never think they're out of games, you know, regardless of how the first 2 games went this series. We still feel like we're in it. So we're swinging the bats more indicative of how we're capable of.
Well, Coach, with a fresh start, so to speak, in this game, what do you want to see from Emma Lemley now in the circle?
Yeah, she just needs to keep them down, you know, shut them down this inning, and, you know, we'll try to get some more next inning.
We'll leave it there.
All right.
Pete. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Pete Demore. 3 homers in an inning. I got to admit, I didn't see that coming.
No, that was extremely impressive, and I think what makes it more impressive is it's all done with 2 outs.
Here's a high drive on the first pitch, but it will stay in the park, and it's caught by Addie Green as Torres flies out to begin the 4th. I think for a moment, if we had Coach Demore on an EKG, the heart rate would have gone up really quickly for a moment when that ball left the bat of Torres after his team had just come back to tie the game.
Oh, and this is what you expect from Game 3 of a conference series. We talked about it a little earlier. There's no surprises. You know, almost, if not all of the pitchers have been in the circle, so you know what you're going to get. You know, the hitters have several at-bats under their belt. It's really just about guts and heart and determination. It's really tough to sweep a series. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care what conference you're in. It is tough if you're playing somebody a 3-game series. That's why the championship series at the World Series is even tough to win the first 2. You know, it's just really difficult to have back-to-back wins, and in this case, back-to-back-to-back to sweep a 3-game conference series.
Well, I had asked you a question during that last half inning about the fact with the postponement Friday of playing basically 3 games in a 26-hour period. There's a strikeout at Davis. You mentioned it, Carol. It's about guts right now, and I know pitching-wise, both sides are going to get a little ragged here, but it'll be fun to watch down the stretch who's able to pull this out.
Well, that's one of the best pitches we've seen from Emma Lemley all day long. It had good velocity. Equally good was her spin through the strike zone. Just a late break on that rise ball for the swing and miss.
Well, I imagine mentally for this game, Emma Lemley's mindset has changed now since all of a sudden she was 5 runs down and now it's a tie game again.
Oh, a huge lift, not only for Emma Lemley, but for her entire team.
But she even looks like she has a little extra juice now all of a sudden.
Well, sure, and how about this shift we've got going on from Virginia Tech? 3 infielders on the left side of the infield, and they are trusting Emma Lemley to put that ball on the outside part of the plate. You're just playing the percentages here.
And it's fouled away. By the way, don't try to do this in Major League Baseball anymore. It's illegal. The shift, that is. Jennings ropes it foul down the left field side.
Yeah, any sort of shift, the trust starts with the circle, the pitcher you have in the circle. If you don't trust that pitcher to consistently hit the outer half of the plate, as Virginia Tech clearly does here with Emma Lemley, and they miss on the inside part of the plate, I mean, it is off to the races for Jennings if she hits the ball to the right side of the field.
No, you're right. If we look at that again, if she hits a ground ball that has any kind of heat on it, it's going to go all the way to the fence in right center field, and she would circle the bases. I don't think there's any question about that with her speed.
And the other weakness of this defense, and with 2 strikes, we're not going to see it, but a bunt down the first baseline, really a foot race. But with 2 strikes, fully expect her to be swinging away here. And when you have a battle like this, there's multiple pitches in an at-bat, kind of strength on strength here. This is where Emma Lemley, she has confidence in that off-speed pitch. It could be a difference maker for her, with Jennings being just super aggressive right now through the strike zone. But when you have the shift on, it makes you think twice about throwing that off-speed pitch, because if Jennings can get a bat on it, typically on an off-speed, you're going to be able to pull the ball. So I expect Lemley to continue to throw the ball hard to the outer part of the plate, either fastball, rise ball combination.
And Jennings is continuing to foul those all off. Grab a seat here at Tech Softball Park. Got a lot more softball to go on this Sunday. Virginia Tech, 3 homers in the bottom of the third to come back and tie the game. It's the 3rd time this season they've had 3 homers in the same inning. 2nd time in conference. They did it against Georgia Tech back on March 18th. Also 3 homers in the 4th inning of their game against Gardner-Webb on March 8th. In play to short, Castine gets her by a step. Lemley sets him down in order for the first time today.
Do your own taxes online with H&R Block, and tax season will feel.
But the home run parade got started with Castine and then Jayme Bailey with a 3-run home run. Emma Ritter takes the first pitch she sees deep, and don't blink. But the Hokies, who lead the nation in home runs, hit 3 of them in 1 inning. They tie the ball game. This Virginia Tech team has a lot of power, and not only do they have a lot of power, they have power to all fields. A little bit more to the left-hand side of the field, the pull side for right-handed batters, but that chart right there, thanks to 643 chart, showing you they can spray the ball all over the field.
Look who is, I'll say back, because she hasn't pitched in this game, but did pitch the earlier game and getting a win. Jayla Wright on for the Blue Devils.
We saw her in the first game, very much a power pitcher, heats the ball up over 65 miles an hour, mainly likes to live in that low part of the zone, will throw up from time to time, but loves that lower part of the zone drop ball. And I love this pitching change. Jayla Wright bringing in a lot of confidence to the circle from that Game 1 win. She is the veteran on this staff. Virginia Tech really struggled to string hits together against her.
Diving catch. The out recorded by Giselle Tapia.
Seen a couple nice plays over there at first base from Tapia. And that's just full commitment. If you're a first baseman and you leave your post, so to speak, at first base, you've got to find a way to make that play. And just love her athleticism over there at first base, showing you she can do more than just catch the ball at first. She's showing you her mobility.
So here's Rachel Castine, who really got it going for Virginia Tech when she led off the third inning, they were down 5-0, and she homered to left center field, make it 5-1. And before the inning was over, they had hit 2 more home runs and tied the game.
Well, and you're thinking about, all right, Virginia Tech showed you again, you leave that ball up in the zone, what can happen? Through the lineup, they can hit home runs. And so what's Duke do to counterattack that? Well, they bring in their top drop ball pitcher and really going to try and force Virginia Tech to elevate the ball, something from down in the zone.
Cameron Jackson is coming to the game in left field for the Blue Devils. Two.
Well, another big reason why we're seeing that left field substitution, Claire Davidson, you know, another pitcher on this Duke staff, and you know, you're starting to count pitchers and who you have. Of course, Curd could re-enter, but got to get Davidson loose in the bullpen.
At the second base, the soft liner is caught by Vega, and I was just about to lead you there. Why Davidson would leave the game, except for she's a two-way player. And again, when you're playing 3 games in 24 some odd hours, you need some more arms. Morgan Overitis is going to come off the bench. Virginia Tech at the 9th spot, occupied by the catcher, Kylie Aldridge. Morgan pinch hit in the earlier game today and fly to right.
Jayla Wright hasn't missed a beat since she has come in the circle. 2 batters faced, retired 2 batters. The ball has been kept in the infield. Just showed you her off-speed pitch. Just throwing that with command to get ahead. 2 strikes in the count.
Thanks to the 3 homers in the 3rd inning, that is now 5 home runs hit by Virginia Tech in the series. Could not get Overitis to go fishing.
It's an exceptional location for an 0-2 pitch. Just close enough to get Overitis to think about swinging, but wouldn't have done any damage. She did put it in play.
Looped out to right. That ball just keeps carrying, and a couple steps shy of the track. Freilich makes the catch. So Jayla Wright responds with a 3-up, 3-down inning, and it's still tied after 4.
Pythagoras, Archimedes.
Emma Lemley, one of the best, not only in the league, but also in the entire country. 195 strikeouts, the tops in Division I. And so far in Game 3 against Duke today, mainly using her rise ball up in the zone. She's been able to get a lot of swings and misses. 3 strikeouts through the first 4 innings today against Duke.
Del Tapia leading off the top of the 5th for the Blue Devils. Two hits in this game for Giselle. She had 2 in the first game of the series yesterday. 4 hits. Castine That was the ball was hit pretty well, but Castine, that was her most fluid, fundamentally sound ground ball pickup. She made a good pickup, good throw to get the out.
Yeah, just settling in. You know, I'm sure a lot of nerves, hasn't had many opportunities. It's shortstop, as you mentioned, bobbled a few. And, you know, that home run she hit probably helped a little bit too. Take that offense over to defense.
Being that I never really hit any, hitting home runs sounds like it would be something that would really take the edge off. Speaking of home runs, Anna Gold has been producing them at a very rapid pace in this series. She's homered in all 3 games.
She's just so disciplined in the box. Rarely gets fooled. And we talked about it earlier. When she does connect, she does not get cheated. Puts a lot of power in that swing.
Those are her numbers entering today. Now she's homered twice, so she's got 13 home runs now in the season. Another hammered foul.
You know, a lot of hitters start their swing. They lose a lot of power going into the ball because they stand up a little bit, or they leak forward on their front foot, or even their head has a little bit too much movement. But with Anna Gold, she starts compact and will stay compact throughout her entire swing. There's just no wasted motion. Anytime she does commit to the swing, all that power is going right into the ball.
She will lift the heel of her front foot, her left foot, and that's about it where she gets into the swing.
Yeah, even her, you know, her first movement, so to speak, or her load. A lot of terminology out there for that, but just her rhythm, her timing, even that is quiet. Just so in control.
Takes a strike on 3-2, and that very out of character for the weekend.
Yeah, Lemley sneaks this one on the inside corner. Not sure what Anna Gold was looking for on that pitch. I can't agree more.
Vega fouls it in the air and backing out of play. We get spoiled pretty fast, don't we? If somebody hits a homer in all 3 games of the series, and you know, one pitch they show that they're still human out there and that this game is not easy to play. Vega's had a really nice series of her own. Homered in the first 2 games of the series.
Well, when you face Emma Lemley, you know you're going to get a lot of up pitches, a lot of speed on the ball, not very many off-speed pitches. But the one thing she just does not do is walk a lot of hitters. Very, very few. Also #1 in the country in terms of strikeout to walk ratio. So if you're a hitter in the box, you're looking down in the zone, staying disciplined. You know you're going to get quite a few strikes. Really a matter of making good contact with the ball. And especially that last third of the strike as the ball flight, you know, when it comes out of her hand, but really tracking it all the way in because of the spin she has on the ball.
Check swing roller out to Bennett. Kelsey throws at Vega. 8 in a row retired by Emma Lemley. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Duke 5, Tech 5.
Auto Owners protects your home.
Has had a lot in the power department, a lot of back and forth here in this third game after a 5-0 deficit. Virginia Tech has come back to tie it. Duke's trying to sweep this 3-game series. Virginia Tech has not been swept in a home conference series since 2021. They lost a 4-game series to Notre Dame. April 23rd to the 25th. That was the year after the COVID shutdown, and they were playing 4-game series in the ACC that one year. We saw and did a lot of weird things after and during COVID. So that's one of them.
If there was one thing coaches across the country, when you asked about that particular season, they're like, wow, it really sounded like a good idea because we wanted to play more games, but there wasn't one coach in any conference who was happy about playing a conference opponent 4 times.
Top of the order, and Kelsey Brown leading off. Yeah, I remember the Pac-12. What they did that year is they played 4-game series, but they made one of the games not count towards conference play. And they got like a week or 2 into that, and I think all the coaches was like, yeah, we made the wrong decision. But that was not a good idea. Jayla Wright came back into this game last inning. Strike on 3-0.
Well, you don't want to walk any batters, especially in the last half of the game in a tie game, but also not the leadoff batter of an inning. And even more importantly for Duke, Kelsey Brown, who is arguably their fastest. She and Emma Ritter, they're best base runners, best base stealers.
I had to chase ball 4 there. Full count.
Yeah, a little over anxious from Brown. You see her trying to use that speed, was trying to do a little dump and go, and you're absolutely right. That would have been a free pass.
And Wright takes advantage. Another one that probably was going to be ball 4. And Brown out on strikes.
Jayla Wright showing you why she is the veteran and the ace of this staff. Finds herself down 3-0 to the leadoff batter, works herself right back into 3 straight strikes for the strikeout.
Into center field, and Fagan has a base hit. Deanna Jennings over to cut it off and limit Fagan to a 1-out single. Now with the 3-hole due up, Grace Chavez, Meredith Slaw, who had a pinch hit home run in the earlier game today, is going to bat here.
And that pinch hit home run was against none other than Jayla Wright.
It was the only run that Tech scored in that game. A 5-1 Duke win. Quick word there from Coach. So Fagan's a left-handed hitter. Slaw also a left-handed batter. Those are the only 2 left-handed bats for Virginia Tech that have hits in this series. And that's going to kick away and allow Fagan to advance to second. A wild pitch.
And that can be the danger of a drop ball pitcher in the circle. If, goes down too far in the dirt. The catcher's got to work twice as hard. This time it's Kelly Torres, a different catcher last game. It's so important to keep the ball in front. Stay up nice and tight to the plate.
There you go. Blocked by Torres there, keeping Fagan at second.
Just uncharacteristic here of Wright. We haven't seen her throw many in the dirt, but maybe feeling the intensity of the moment.
Well, she was 3-0 on Brown, was able to come back and get her on strikes. Now she's 3-0 Slaw. Got Bailey due up next to hit a 3-run home run in her last time out. The first base was open, now it is not. 4-pitch walk to the pinch hitter Slaw, and that's going to bring up Bailey. Coach Pete DeBoer is going to use a runner for Slaw, who gets a nice hand as he departs. Ialuko is going to be that runner at first base.
Two good at-bats today for Meredith Slaw. The pinch hit home run and the pinch hit walk. That's exactly what you want for your pinch hitters coming off the bench. It's a very difficult role, and she's 2 for 2 in terms of positive at-bats.
Bailey takes in the dirt. He changed the game with one swing. Lily Walker came in, and on the first pitch, she drilled one out of here for a 3-run shot that made it a 5-4 game. And then Emma Ritter, who's on deck now, followed that with a game-tying homer.
Well, and you've got a drop ball pitcher in the circle. You know, if you're a catcher, especially if Virginia Tech is making that adjustment and moving up in the box. Bailey's still back in the box, but you want to be as tight as you can to that batter. And look at that gap that Kelly Torres still has. Now, you certainly don't want catcher interference and get too tight, but it's a lot easier if you're tight to the plate with that ball taking the downspin. And we've seen Jayla Wright throw quite a few in the dirt in this inning, and that's a big reason that Kelly Torres has been struggling. Definitely, as a quick rule of thumb, you should be able to touch the batter with your glove, especially with a drop ball pitcher in the circle.
Got under it. It's going to stay in the park, I think. Yes, on the warning track. Caught by Cameron Jackson. She didn't miss that by much from having another 3-run home run. I'm sure Jayla Wright and Duke breathing a sigh of relief there. Brings up Ritter. Runs inside, the runners advance 60 feet. You thought the pressure was on now, or before, to keep the ball close by. Now, got a go-ahead runner at third.
Oh, we haven't seen this from Jayla Wright the entire day, but right now having a hard time, and you see the deep breath, just trying to refocus, having a hard time finding the strike zone, and Kelly Torres having a tough time keeping the ball in front. This is a different Jayla Wright than we saw in game 2. It was very attacking the zone, and now pitching a little on the defensive.
3-0. A left-handed batter, Addie Green, scheduled next. Tied at 5 in the 5th. Four-pitch walk to Emma Ritter. She's on base for a 3rd time in this game. And it loads the bases for Addie Green. Second walk of the inning handed out by Jayla Wright.
Well, and this is the part of the batting order so far in this game. Just 1 hit from the 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters. Now, it was a home run from Castine. But this is the part of the order that Jayla Wright, really the entire pitching staff for Duke, has been able to keep at bay so far today.
Wright gets a strike over to begin the sequence to Green. But Jayla Wright, a 7-inning complete game win in the first game today. She didn't walk anybody in the 7 innings she pitched in the first game today. She's walked 2 of the last 3 hitters. Appeal. No. It's Chuck McManus at third, 1-1.
And of those 2 walks, you know, really not that many challenging pitches. You know, bouncing in the zone or up over the head of Torres. And this is where Torres is really going to have to work behind the plate. Keep the ball in front, prevent that go-ahead run from scoring.
1-2. And if Duke's able to get out of this, and Jayla Wright, remember Brown led off the inning. Probably chased a couple of pitches that would have been ball 4, but she struck out for the first out. And Bailey just got under a ball that she hit the deep left field that was not far from maybe being a 3-run home run for the second out. But now she's got Green at 1-2.
Well, and those are 2 of the best pitches that Jayla Wright has thrown in this inning. Able to have control of that ball down in the zone. Swing and a miss on one of them, a little weak foul ball. I mean, there's no secrets where the ball is going at this point. It's just, can Jayla Wright's pitch beat Addie Green's swing? We know that ball is going to go down in the zone.
Back to Wright. And she overthrows first. It scores at least 2. Here comes the 3rd runner, Ritter. Well, defense has been an issue for Duke all season. It had not been an issue in this series until then.
And with 2 outs and all the time in the world, Jayla Wright starts to run over to first base. Should have continued to run to first base. That's a little flip toss. They would have been out of the inning. Instead, she sails one. It is very costly as 3-run score for Virginia Tech.
Wow. You talk about not being a worse time imaginable to have your first error of the series. And you feel for Jayla Wright. I'm sure Duke, when that ball went back to the circle, are thinking, whew, going to get out of this. And it didn't work out that way.
Well, that's why you never want to change your overhand throw. And you saw Jayla Wright take a little shuffle and look like she was trying to take a little off, and that's when it can sail. You want to throw the ball at the same speed in general when it's what you would determine as to be a routine play. Throw at the same speed every time, but more importantly for Jayla Wright, just running that ball over and a little flip toss would have been out of the inning.
Well, In actuality, on that play, she could have thrown home had she wanted to. She had a force out there as well. But the natural rhythm, I know, is to throw the ball to first base. But you made the point, heck, she probably could have run almost all the way to first before she needed to just make a short shovel. But, you know, that's hindsight. Out to short. Baker makes the play, but the first Duke miscue of the series, a costly one, as they give up 3 unearned runs in the 5th.
We used to struggle with greasy messes. Now, we just free.
Earlier today in the first game, we saw Haley King, Elizabeth Kitley, a couple of the players here at Peck Softball Park. Well, Carol Bruggeman, let's see how Duke responds to being behind for the first time in this series. One hopper to short. Castine, low but picked there by Bailey for the first down.
And this is a mental challenge for Duke as much as it's a physical challenge, just having to overcome the 3-run miscue to end the 5th inning. But this is a Duke team that's put up a lot of runs. I mean, they put up 12 runs in the first 2 games of the series. 5 here today so far. They can score in bunches as well.
So 8 unanswered runs by Virginia Tech. Duke got out to a 5-0 lead through the first 2.5 innings. Francesca Freilich. Lee hits the inside corner, 1-2.
Lemley, right after this game became tied a couple innings ago, we have seen a different Emma Lemley. A little bounce in her step, working from ahead, much better spin on the ball. Just getting those swings and misses. I'd still love to see her use that off-speed pitch a little bit more. That's what she's going to need to really take that next step and be truly the dominant pitcher she can be. Because over time, teams can catch up with speed and velocity, but when you can mix speeds and stretch the zone vertically like Emma Lemley can do, that would be very difficult.
Freilich deep right off the fence. Green takes it on a hop. Here's a throw into second, safe. Freilich getting that left hand in, winding up on her back, but rolls over and finds herself at second base with 1 out.
Well, this pitch doesn't quite jump up to the level that Emma Lemley wanted. Freilich's able to stay on top of the ball, but a beautiful play from Addie Green off the wall. Throws a perfect strike over to second. Freilich has to use the extension of all body parts to be safe at second base.
Well, they're reviewing this, and I think the look at for Virginia Tech, they're hoping that that hand came off the bag even for a fraction of a second with the tag being applied.
No, and it's a very savvy slide. She's going to go in. Freilich's going to go in with both hands, but realizes the ball's coming, so she removes her right hand and grabs the base with her left hand. Just unbelievable base awareness, ball awareness, just trying to do everything she can to avoid that tag. That's a very athletic play. It's not easy to do when you go into your slide with both hands and then you're tucking and rolling the right hand away and still able to hang on with the left hand. But I agree with you, Mark. I did not see anything there that would call the overturn.
With the call upheld, it'll be the third double of the season for Francesca Freilich. It ends a string of 9 in a row, retired though by Emma Limley, who had not allowed a base runner since Claire Davidson base hit in the third. Marissa Young wants to bat for Baker. Christiana Watson is going to be the hitter. First pitch strike to Watson, who has 27 at-bats on the season.
I mean, we talk a lot about Virginia Tech's power, and they certainly pack a big punch with the extra base hits, but Duke has 5 doubles and 5 home runs in the series as well. Just watching the pitching of both of these teams, watching the way they hit through the lineup and battle, really. And, you know, Virginia Tech able to bounce back here and come back in this game, but just watching them shows you why they're both two teams ranked in the top 25 in the country.
Big swing by Watson, who's in her first year with Duke, transferred after last season from Arizona State. Rise ball gets Watson, a strikeout, 2 outs.
This is Emma Lemley's bread and butter. There's a rise ball coming, laddering up through the zone at about 68, 69 miles an hour. Big strikeout.
5th of the game, so she has 197 strikeouts on the season. Just 21 walks. Ahead of Torres. As much as pitching has been at a premium when you're playing these 3 games in about a 24-hour period, Duke did not travel right-handed pitcher Sophie Garner-McKinnon did not make the trip due to illness. One and two. In reality, there's 4 pitchers available to Marissa Young when you include Claire Davidson as one who has yet to pitch, though has played the outfield. Two-two pitch. Lifted to left center field. This ball could be trouble, and is. Diving attempt by Ritter, picked up by Brown. It scores Freilich. Torres, an RBI double, and Duke's going to get the tying run to the plate here in the 6th.
Torres looking for that pitch up in the zone. She's able to match the plane of the ball, the elevation of the pitch, and a great effort by Emma Ritter as she dives full out. Would have been a phenomenal catch, but too much power on the ball from Torres. And here comes Duke.
At the top of the order in Deja Davis. Davis represents the tying run. In this game, she has singled in 3 at-bats. That came in the second inning. Offering at the rise and falling behind 0-2.
With Lemley, you know, again, now later in the game. This is the second game Duke has seen Emma Lemley. Right now, she just continues to pound that upper part of the strike zone. Be a great time to come back with that off-speed pitch. Just give Duke a little bit of a different look.
Left center field, hit well, but on the run, missed. Ritter couldn't come up with a catch. Torres scores all the way to third. Davis representing the tying run. That time it looked like Ritter did get there, but just misjudged it. The inning continues.
Well, yeah, every outfielder knows you got to be a little faster than the ball, and this ball is hit deep, but it's up in the air a long time, and Ritter just can't put her glove on it. Just misjudges the ball. She did have to go a long way for it, but typically is going to make this catch, and it is very costly as the speed of Davis allows her to get all the way to third base.
Scored a triple, but we'll put the tying run at third, and Yana Jennings being pinch hit for here by Rodriguez. Kyrie Rodriguez, freshman bat, but first Pete DeMoore, head coach, out to the circle.
Well, and this is where Emma Lemley, you know, see that almost a little over 70%, right around 70% strike rate. But at this point in time in the game, it's been in the same zone. It's been belt high. It's been a little bit higher. Sometimes rips one off and does get the swing and miss, but without being able to stretch the zone a little more, mix speeds a little more, Duke has been able to make those adjustments and fight their way back into this game.
Jennings rips the first pitch, fouled back. I should say Rodriguez batting for Jennings.
How about Rodriguez being ready to go? She's hasn't made an appearance in 2 games of this doubleheader and swings at the first offering from Lemley.
Nothing in 2. Vega is a true freshman from West Palm Beach, Florida. Davis representing the tying run at third. Lemley gets the strikeout, her 6th of the game, to put out the fire, but not before Duke scores 2.
It's an ABC Hockey Saturday triple header.
Oh, Duke is out hit Tech 11-5, but it's Virginia Tech with a 1-run lead as they bat in the bottom of the 6th inning in what's been a wild finale to this series between a couple of top 20 teams. Eight, 9, and 1 batters up here for Tech. Rachel Castine homered in her first at bat of the game. Is 1 for 2. She leads off. Runner first of the year, second of her young career.
Jayla Wright, definitely a different pitcher in game 2 today than she was in game 1. Got the 7-inning complete game win. Has had to battle since she's come in relief. Falling behind a little more than usual. Just struggling to find the strike zone.
Rio pitch to Castine. 4-pitch walk. Claire Davidson has come back into left field for Duke. Thought we may see her pitch, and still not completely off the table. That's the 3rd walk allowed by Wright, 5th by Duke pitching. After Jayla Wright did not walk anybody in 7 innings in a win in the first game today.
Well, and if you're thinking, okay, this is 5 straight balls, what else can Duke do? You're absolutely right. They can bring Claire Davidson in from left field, assuming she has warmed up a little bit. The other thing they can do is re-enter Cassidy Curd, who was the starter.
You know
and
that's going to happen right now. So what you were talking about with Davidson. So we are going to see Davidson take over here in the circle. With the pitching change, we'll take a quick timeout.
It's an ABC Hockey Saturday triple header. First up,
Claire Davidson is going to find herself in the circle for the 12th time this year.
Duke is going deep into the well in the bullpen, just trying to use all the tools in their toolbox to get through this game 3, and they turn to another lefty in Claire Davidson. Really has elite movement on the ball, can work all parts of the zone, does have an effective changeup.
Bunted and foul. It hit her while she was trying to get out of the batter's box, Aldridge. Davidson, who came in from left field to pitch, so Sarah Goddard has entered the game and taken Davidson's spot in left field. That is a solid bunt. Torres makes a good play. But the sacrifice advances Castine down to second with 1 out.
Aldridge doing her job, knowing how valuable it would be to get another run here in the bottom of the 6th. Keeps her barrel out front, does not run until she sees the ball in the dirt. And that's what you love from a sacrifice bunt, making sure it is down. And now Virginia Tech has a runner in scoring position.
And they now also go to Jenna Pearson to run at second base for Castine. Top of the order for Virginia Tech. And Brown due up, but Bree Peck is going to come off the bench. So they replaced the left-handed hitting Brown with the right-handed hitting Peck. The runner at second, 1 out.
Great pitch from Davidson as she paints the corner with her off-speed pitch. When you have command and have two speeds that you can throw and locate, it makes you tough to hit.
Davidson gets ahead 1-2. Eight, 7 Hokies, last of the sixth. Duke has won the first two games of this series. 7-1 yesterday, 5-1 earlier today. Reaching, whacked, right center, down to the fence. Pearson, the pinch runner, fell down. Now is going to try to score and will. Now that ball gets away, and Peck will go to third. Well, that almost turned tragic for Tech, but Pearson got up, and I thought when she started for the plate after getting up, that was a mistake, but this ball was hit well by Peck.
Just really reached for an outside pitch, but showing you her power. And Pearson just hits the base wrong, trying to get up and score, and very fortunate that this throw, it was not recognized earlier by Duke. And so she scores easily, and everybody will have a good smile about that one later.
And I see now as we look at Kelsey Brown, who's re-entered here, but I know now why Pearson got up to try to score, because the third base coach, Mike Lewis, was right there in her ear pointing, go, go, get up and go. So she did what the coach said and was able to make it a two-run game.
Well, just really impressed with the pinch hitting ability of Virginia Tech. Bree Peck started the last game, waited late in the game to have her number called, comes up with a double. We saw Meredith Slaw earlier draw a walk. I mean, just a lot of positive contributions from the bench of Virginia Tech in this game.
There's the ball in the right center alley, and then Pearson hits the bag and then hits the ground. But got up. And that throw got away, and that's why Brown, who's re-entered, is at third, so that's why Fagan has a chance here with a runner at third, one out. And that is going to take it back to a three-run game as Fagan, her second hit of the game, singles home Brown, and it's 10-7 Hokies.
Cameron Fagan has had some fantastic at-bats in the final game of this series, hitting the ball hard, just being on time. Good bat speed, just too much pace on that ball to handle it.
Opportunity here for Madison Hanson. She bats in the 3 spot that has been occupied by the DP. Chavez and Slaw pinch hit, and now Hanson. Really not sure who this Virginia Tech offense is compared to the offense we saw through the first 16 innings of this series. But the last 4 innings have been a complete flip of the script offensively for Virginia Tech.
There is no doubt about it, and we heard Coach DeMore say it when we were visiting with him during the game in the interview. You know, this is uncharacteristic. You know, we characteristically hit the ball a little better and can get it in the air and can move people around, and there is no doubt about it. They've hit through the lineup several times here late in the game, just passing the bat, whether it's a sacrifice bunt, whether it's been a base hit. We've seen multiple extra base hits, 3 home runs.
Bailey's 3-run home run right after they made a pitching change. Duke in the third changed the game, and that's a little flare that's going to drop in. Throw's coming into third, safe there, down to second. And it took a great play by Vega to keep that ball from winding up in right field. An extra base hit for Bailey.
On everything going Virginia Tech's way. Just Bailey's completely fooled by this pitch, but gets enough on it, hits it where there's nobody there. And I think Jayme Bailey has one speed, and that is full throttle, as she was thinking 2 bases the minute that ball was blooped into left field.
Why I was thinking double, but they are going to score it single, advance into second on a throw, but nonetheless. Second and third, 2 outs. Couple base runners for Emma Ritter. Off-speed strike. Ritter solo home run right after the Bailey 3-run shot in the third. At that point, tied the game at 5 after Duke had gotten out to the early 5-0 lead. Going to head to the 7th. Duke's going to trail it by at least 3. They will have the 3, 4, and 5 hitters up. So that means that Anna Gold is going to bat again. But since Tech has scored twice in this inning, they may add more. Deep left center. Holy smokes. Ritter's second homer of the game. This one, a 3-run shot. That may be the exclamation point for Virginia Tech.
I mean, haven't we talked about hitting is contagious? Well, ever since the 3rd inning, this is all we have seen from Virginia Tech. A big hit parade, a few singles, a few doubles, but a whole lot of home runs.
What a remarkable change for the Tech offense. Eddie Green takes a strike.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. This offense was anemic in game 1 and game 2, and the first 2 innings here of game 3 just struggled to get runners on base. The few runners they had on base struggled to move them over, and boy, they have just been electric since the 3rd inning here in game 3.
Did she? Yes, says Chuck McManus. 8 batters come to the plate. Tech adds 5. Last chance for the Blue Devils when we come back.
It's an ABC Hockey Saturday triple header. First up,
Game 1, a home run. In game 2, more of the same. And in game 3, she got another one. 3 home runs for Anna Gold. She will be up 2nd in this inning. And she and her teammates have some work to do to keep this game going.
Down 6. Gold due up 2nd in this inning. Tapia to lead off. Swings at the first pitch. To her left, Ritter in center field. Might be battling a little bit of the sun there, but makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Next up, number 4, Anna Gold.
Next up for Virginia Tech. Doubleheader against Longwood later this week. Then they play Thursday through Saturday at Virginia. With the Easter weekend coming up, Duke play a doubleheader at UNC Wilmington on Wednesday, and then they're out of conference play next week They'll play home and home games against Elon and at Elon. They don't play again in ACC play until they go to Boston College April 14th through the 16th.
Well, all Anna Gold has done against Lemley, 2 hits, 2 home runs, 7 RBI, of course the grand slam in game 1.
Two pitch for Anna Gold. Got in on the hands, but pulls it over the screen and into the seats. Congratulations, sir. We'll need that softball back. Yeah, I'm going to use that pitch right there to open up a little discussion here late. We've talked about Lemley, who's mostly rise, a little bit of drop, a changeup that's a work in progress. If that changeup ever gets to be a consistent pitch for Lemley, it could be frightening how good she can be.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And she throws a fastball low in the zone too, but it's also hard. You know, she has really thrived, made a name for herself truly off velocity. And then she's added some spin up in the zone, and it's that swing and miss rate that has been so effective for her, especially her freshman year, and it started again here her sophomore year. But at some point, you know, that's the scouting report if you're facing Emma Lemley, is looking down in the zone, leave anything above your hands go. Easier said than done when you're throwing as hard as Emma Lemley does. But you don't really have to worry about anything super low in the zone or any off-speed pitch. If she throws you an off-speed pitch, you're certainly not going to see it back-to-back. So you're absolutely right. The development of an effective off-speed that she can throw with command on any count would really complement Emma Lemley.
Right umpire Heath Walker, who fortunately is okay after taking a little velocity off his body, rings up Anna Gold.
It's the second at-bat in a row we have seen Anna Gold take one right down Broadway. Very uncharacteristic to have back-to-back strikeouts looking from Anna Gold.
Duke down to their final out. Aminah Vega. Right center field, that's up and off the scoreboard. And for Aminah Vega, her third home run of the series, and she has homered in every game of the series for Duke.
He does not hit like a freshman. Just quick hands, gets good extension, able to elevate the ball, showing you her power. I mean, this one is absolutely drilled off the scoreboard, high off the scoreboard. Matter of fact, almost hit it over the scoreboard.
Almost hit it off her own photograph, her own picture on the scoreboard that was posted there. So how about that? Duke with two different players that homered in every game of this three-game series, Gold and Vega. Claire Davidson, who's now the pitcher, couple of singles for Claire. Again, Duke down to their last out. And that will be it. Bailey steps on the base. And after falling behind 5-0 early, Virginia Tech able to salvage the final game of the series with a 13-8 win over the Blue Devils.
Well, just an impressive win, mainly because they had to pick themselves up by the bootstraps, really down early in this game as well, but found a way to fight. Both of these teams showing you why they're two of the best in the country.
Well, the Hokies salvage a game, but Duke takes the series, taking 2 of 3. Our thanks to our terrific crew, producer Daniel Gibbons, director Eric Fry. Don't forget our great statistician Karen Johns, and for Carol Bruggeman. I'm Mark Neely. Thanks so much for sharing this one with us. 16th ranked Virginia Tech over 13th ranked Duke, 13-8 to wrap up the series in Blacksburg.
Every day I'm hustling.